You guys always good. Welcome back on the Uncle Sharma channel. It's cold. It's cold once again out in these streets in the UK. You're not going to probably be seeing me with a t-shirt on, and but things are heating up in Serie A. Last game before the international break, so we need to make sure to get a win. Udinese versus Inter tomorrow, Sunday, 11:30 a.m. kickoff time in the UK, 12:30 in Italy. It's just an early kickoff. You know, these lunchtime kickoffs are always tricky because I always feel like the players are not quite ready. Maybe they've had like a heavy breakfast or like something too light. Like it just never feels like they're properly up for it. And Udinese away is never an easy game. So yeah, let's get into the preview. Of course, if you follow Serie A this season, you know Udinese at the moment are flying. They're actually ahead of Inter. I don't even remember the last time we went into a game against Udinese and they were ahead of us. So Sottil, the new coach who's come in from Serie B, from Ascoli, the dad of Riccardo Sottil, the Fiorentina player, he's doing some real good stuff, showing some good personality, and not actually, terrorist football. Like, on the Gotti for sure, they were 100% playing full terrorismo ball. And the Cioffi, things changed a little bit, but always, still primarily counter-attacking. It seems like Sottil's trying to take him a little bit more possession-based, but I'm telling you, tomorrow, I think, once they play against the big teams, and as they did against Roma, they will play on the transition. They will absorb pressure and counter-attack the hell out of us. And you guys know that is the type of teams we struggle against. Our history against them recently isn't too bad, to be honest. Away, our last game against them, if you guys remember, 2-1. Dzeko won that penalty. Remember, he just kind of fell over and won that penalty, but then Lautaro missed it and then scored the rebound. But at home, we seem to be doing really well against them. But away, as you see, before that, it was a 0-0. And before that was a 2-0 win. So it's not too bad. It's not too bad. But Udinese are always a really tricky team to play. And especially now that they're on form, definitely not the right time to be playing them. But is there ever a right time to play a team? Getting into the predicted lineups, we'll get up the Gazzetta predicted ones first. And there's some interesting names in there. They're putting a Acerbi in at the back ahead of De Vrij, which is, surprising to me, because basically this player here is going to be the one marking Beto Betuncal, the massive 6'5" Portuguese striker of Udinese, who has been in good form again this season, just as he was last year. Very, very clunky striker, but physically he's a monster. So I'm actually not too against it in terms of starting the Acerbi over De Vrij, because if you ask me who is stronger between De Vrij in terms physically, between De Vrij and the Acerbi, I'd probably say De Vrij. But De Vrij, we've seen over the years, that's not just a thing now. He doesn't seem to know how to bully strikers properly. Neither does Acerbi, to be honest. But Acerbi did deal really well with the physical striker that Victoria Pilsen had just the other day, and he's coming in with fresh focus, kind of driven, hungry to prove his doubters wrong. And so I wouldn't actually be against it if Acerbi does start. But of course, if De Vrij starts up, that's fine as well. But we need De Vrij to really step up. We know De Vrij has never had really that personality. Like, even when he was in good form, when he won Serie A Defender of the Season, he's always lacked that kind of killer, centre-back instinct. Like, he's quite a nice guy. Like, you can just tell even off the pitch, he's very intelligent, plays the piano. So he's quite like a typical centre-back. So not typical, atypical centre-back. So yeah, Acerbi is same. He's not really the type of a killer's type of centre-back, but I think a little bit more than De Vrij. Bastoni looks like he will keep his place, which is good. I think we do need as much of the Udinese are a physical team, so I feel like we do need our most physical team. I don't think we can start Di Marco as centre-back definitely in this one, because Beto or even Tucu Pereira coming in off the wing as he does, or Udogie, like they've got a tall, strong team. Wallace is tall and strong. Lovrich as well. Obviously all the centre backs. So I really don't want to be out muscled or out, performed in the air against Udinese. So I kind of agree with this lineup. Apart from Darmian, again, I would continue playing Gosens because we need to give him playing time. That's the only way he's going to get better. He's not dropping any stinkers, Gosens, we have to say that, but he's just dropping kind of like, lackluster 6 out of 10 performances up until now. but he needs to get accustomed with his teammates a little bit more, and his teammates need to start trusting him more and, you know, rewarding him when he makes those runs in behind. Darmian, I think, is, again, as usual, I think we just lose a guy when it comes to build-up play. And, you know, going forward as well, he doesn't add too much when he's on the left, especially. And I'm surprised that Dumfries keeps getting a start, because he's played a lot of minutes. And in terms of that, here is the squad up until now. You know, 6 games in Serie A. So is it 2 games in the Champions League now? So, you know, good amount of time to see how the squad rankings are out. And Milan Skriniar, you know, 699 minutes. He is the most played player until now. That's why he needs a rest at some point soon, hopefully. But it's just the thing, you just can't rest these two. You just can't. There's no right game that feels like you should rest them. And then afterwards, as I said, Dumfries, 581 minutes. He's getting a lot of minutes. Not as rotated as he was last season, it feels like to me. Then Lautaro, Barella, and then if you scroll all the way to the bottom, shock, the guys with the two guys with the least minutes are our, you know, new young recruits, Aslani and Bellanova. And this is where, you know, question marks coming in for Inzaghi. Like, you know, we've bought these guys, of course they're not that expensive, but for Inter, you know, Aslani is a permanent buy, you know, 4 million with a obligation. Bellanova is an option to buy, but still, you know, decent amount of investment into these youngsters. So he needs to start integrating them, and they both have skills and abilities which are useful to this team, which leads me on to the predicted lineup from, you know, both Gazzetta and Sky Sport Italy, which is this guy, this fella right here, the Thanos of Inter, Roberto Gagliardini. Thanos Gagliardini, like, we just can't beat this guy. How many years this guy just always sneaks into the starting lineup at some point in the season. And it's surprising because now we have Mkhitaryan, who, didn't have the greatest game against Victoria Pilsen, but he's been having some good impact substitution appearances. And against Bayern, I feel like he was probably the best outfield player we had. So it's really surprising to me that he's not getting the start here. And I think, you know, once again, Gagliardini is probably starting because of the fact that Udinese are a physical team, especially that midfield is very physical. But again, to me, it just feels like you're losing a player in the build-up, and in terms of quality, you need to be outplaying teams like Udinese, who are going to make life difficult for you. I know Inzaghi has said that he doesn't see Aslani really as a mezzala. Like, he said he can play there, but he sees him as the vice Brozovic. Inzaghi and his style of play, in theory, should be, you know, we know when at its best, it's about, you know, dominating the opposition, you know, smooth play. And Aslani, you know, he can, if you see him as a regista, you know, in that position that Hakan usually plays is the one that comes a little bit deeper, helps the build-up play a little bit more than Barella does. So I don't see why Aslani can't be integrated into that position. But maybe this Udinese game isn't the best one in terms of because of how physical they are with the midfield. But still, it feels like there's always going to be some sort of excuse not to play Aslani and Bellanova. But hopefully, at least, I want to see more minutes, 100% from Inzaghi. This is one of the big criticism I have for Inzaghi at the moment till now this season, and from last season in general. Sky Sport Italy have Di Marco left wing back, whereas Gazzetta have Darmian. So I would probably have Di Marco rather than Darmian. As I said, I would rather have Gosens, but out of Darmian and Di Marco, I'd rather have Di Marco just for his crossing ability. By the way, his crossing hasn't been that good recently. I know we always say he's got a really nice left foot, but his crossing has been a bit lackluster the last few matches. So he does need to step up, because that is the one ability that, you know, that's his standout ability. He doesn't really have too much else, Di Marco. So he needs to really step up. I want to see some assists for him, especially without Hakan. He needs to step up with the set pieces as well if he plays tomorrow, which I feel like he probably will. And then up front, Dzeko Martinez, we know the deal. Dzeko actually is chasing his 100th goal in Serie A. So I hope he gets it tomorrow. That'll be perfect way, especially if it's a win. Maybe even if it's a penalty. We know Lautarito, we just can't really trust him on the penalty spot. And I know Dzeko doesn't take penalties, and there must be a reason for that. But maybe for his 100th Serie A goal, he might need to step up and take this one for the team. We haven't received a penalty yet this season, so I think we're probably due one at some point soon. Other reports, as per Sempre Inter, saying Mkhitaryan is ahead of Gagliardini to start, and this is from, who is reporting this one? Gazzetta saying that, but then they predict the lineup, they didn't have him. But I guess this is 1 day old, so maybe they updated it since then. So I guess, yeah, again, I would definitely have Mickey ahead of Gaglia, and there's here once again they're reiterating Dzeko looking for his 100th goal. So it looks like he will start ahead of Correa, which again I'm not 100% sure, because Dzeko's now played, was it 3 or 4 games from the start? You know, ever since Lukaku's been injured, he's been starting every game. So I don't know. We know his legs can't really keep up with that, with this kind of pace, but it is what it is. In terms of comparison from last season, quickly, we are -2 points compared to this point last season. So we've got some catching up to do, but we are +1 points compared to Antonio Conte's title winning season. So, you know, I know things are looking quite negative at the moment, but Inzaghi, the question mark is, you know, just as it was Conte at the beginning of that 2020-2021 season, can you turn it around? Obviously, Antonio Conte managed to do it in amazing fashion. This is where Inzaghi needs to turn things around. Can he do it? We definitely need to stop conceding goals. 8 goals conceded already is too much, but you see, under Conte at this point, like that 2 seasons ago, we already conceded 10. So that's what I was reminding people about. You know, things in the Conte weren't all rosy. I think we definitely need to stop losing games. We cannot lose this game against Udinese. If we lose this one, then really the Inzaghi out plan is going to get louder. And again, I won't blame them anymore, and I'll probably start to understand them, because I still won't be in favor of sacking Inzaghi, because I just think like there's no point. There's no point in sacking the manager so early on in the season. What are you going to achieve? But at the same time, it's going to get difficult to maintain Inzaghi if things continue like this. But I can feel like we can sneak a win in this one. It won't be pretty. I don't think it will be a good performance once again, but I think we might get the ugly job done once again, like we did against Torino, like we did against Lecce. And if we look, annoying advert, go away. But yeah, in terms of attack, we're the second best joint attack with Milan and Udinese, actually. There's 3 teams on 12 goals scored. And then defending wise, yeah, we're all the way down here, and we need to improve. Whereas Udinese have conceded only 6 in 6, 1 goal game averaging, which is really good. But hopefully we ruin that record for them and score at least 2 goals like we did last year against them. I have faith to do at least something like that and finish strongly before the international break. Hakan is out of this match, and he should be back after the international break. He's sprained his thigh, just like Lukaku did, and Lukaku should be back after the international break as well. So there are those things to look forward to for sure. And I think we kind of need this international break a little bit to just regroup, recharge the batteries. Obviously, the guys that will go on international duties, they can't recharge the batteries. De Vrij going with Holland and Dumfries. Gossen's actually been called up to the Germany squad, which is good. Lukaku hasn't been called up, which is good. And obviously the Italians were called up, our big boys. But yeah, so overall, not too bad. Lautaro, of course, Correa will go to Argentina, but it is what it is. That's what you get with a big, international squad. But thank you for watching, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. I am predicting a 2-1 victory against Udinese. I really hope Dzeko gets his 100th goal in Serie A. And maybe one of the defenders chips in with a set piece. I've been saying that for so many previews, but it's not happened yet. But surely at some point we need to step up in set pieces. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Who would you start? Match predictions. Leave a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Become a channel member if you want to support the channel. Ciao ragazzi. Forza Inter.